Thank you very much. I guess I'll introduce myself a little bit. Tara McBride, a new faculty over in the EXS program. I teach women's only weightlifting and also a co-ed weightlifting class. My husband also teaches as well. His name is Tom. He teaches a co-ed weightlifting class and an Olympic lifting class. It's pretty awesome. Olympic lifting is pretty fun. We're both from Canada. Hi, I'm 27 years old. Let's see, I've always been pretty active. I love to play all sports. I did in high school. I love everything about Hawaii and that it has to offer. And so with that, so I've been active my whole life, and I've been finding this new little path and kind of cool little area called fitness. So before, not too long ago, fitness was actually not defined. It wasn't really defined scientifically, I guess you could say. Can everybody hear me okay? Am I talking loud enough? Tom, can you grab me some water? It's in my backpack, please. Right in front of this sister, right there. Yeah, thank you. Here, I'll put my hair up. So recently, fitness was never actually defined, not scientifically. When something's defined scientifically, it's measurable and repeatable, right? And so this is something that I've been studying, that I've been learning, I've been putting to the test myself personally, and same with Tom and others that we are involved with, actually. So what is fitness? What do you guys think fitness is? Go ahead. I would love some interaction. Being active, okay. Good. Anyone else? The state of being fit. All right, well, that's what you would find if you were to actually look it up in the dictionary. Yes? Being proactive in your state of well-being. Being fit, being active, right? These are all pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to kind of get a little bit sciencey. Fitness, okay, this idea of broad, general, inclusive, adaptive capacity that will prepare you for the unknown and the unknowable. Okay, this is kind of fancy and whatever way of saying you will be put in some random state and will be able to perform well at any given time. Fitness, okay? How can we measure that? Okay, so there's this general, I'm surprised no one said sports. Anything type of like athleticism, right? That's kind of surprising. Don't I have any athletes in here?
Okay, big muscles, that's fit.
Great, yeah. Hypertrophy, big muscles, right? That guy over there has some big ones. Maybe this one? I don't know. All right. Yeah, no one mentioned sports. I think they're somewhat involved with fitness, right? But the fitness that I'm talking about is a little different than what we do know about sports. So what we know about sports is we know everything physiologically that we need to know about sports, okay? So I'll get into that a little bit later. But this fitness that I want to describe, like I said, is a general, inclusive, adaptive capacity that you'll be able to prepare you for the unknown and the unknowable. So being able to be good at any situation whenever. So a couple coaches and some exercise physiologists got together and they came up with this list. This list of 10 general physical skills. Okay, I'm going to write this down. So 10. So we're on this journey to figure out what fitness is and how to describe it, right? There's actually 3, 4, maybe 5 models that I'm going to be showing you and how you can determine what fitness is and even assess yourself and where you sit and how fit you are and what that entails. So 1, 10 general skills or 10 general physical skills, okay? And this is what we've got. We've got 1, cardiovascular respiratory endurance. Do you guys know what that means? Your heart pumps really well. You can go for a long time. Endurance, right? So those are like our cross-country runners and whatnot. Stamina, strength, flexibility, power, speed, coordination. Number 8 is agility. Number 9, balance. Any guesses on 10? Accuracy. Okay. So when you get onto an exercise program, right, you want to become fit, these are the 10 physical skills in which you hope to better yourself in. This is a list that I said coaches and physiologists or exercise physiologists put together to help us better understand what fitness is. Okay, their names, the guys who put this together, is Jim Crowley and Bruce Evans. Okay, so along came this other guy, and he was looking at this, and he's like, I want to get fit. But so he took this list and went a step further. Okay, you are as fit, he or she is as fit as you are balanced in each one of these 10, capacities.
Between number 1 and number 2, endurance and stamina.
Stamina, I can give you a whole list after. Yeah, definitely in it. I have definitions for every single one of these, and we'll get to that at the end if that's okay. Okay, so you are as fit as you are balanced in each of these capacities. So Tom and I are standing beside each other, okay, and we're equal in every single one of these, except, say, he's more flexible. Tom is therefore more fit than I am. Does that make sense? Right? So that's our first model that we've got going on. A little side note, so this is all man-made. Nature has no obligation to determine any difference between any of these at any given point of time. So what I mean by that is life will never be like, oh, you need to be really flexible today and only today. Does that make sense? Right? Cool. So I want to be balanced. I want to be balanced in all of these. That's our first model. Okay, our second model. Second model. Do you guys know what a hopper is? What is it? Yeah. How many of you have played bingo before? Right? Yeah. Okay, big hopper, kind of something you put a bunch of things into. Okay, I'm going to try to draw one. So we're going to have like this big barrel. Has a little window in it that you can close. Okay, so I want to be fit. I want to be balanced in all of these. This hopper is now going to be filled with anything that you can think of: skills, drills, strength and conditioning tasks, athletic performance that you can think of. Okay, what do you think one might be? So you have, say, a firefighter up here, Tom, a policeman, another guy, and we have this hopper, and we want them to do something, and we want to figure out which one is more fit. So we start throwing in a bunch of random things like running 400 meters. What about, what's another thing? Burpees. Yeah, we could definitely throw burpees in there. Swimming, throw swimming in there. I don't want to leave anything out. Let's throw a triathlon in there, right? We could throw CrossFit. I don't know what that means, but okay, so we can, whatever CrossFit means, but let's throw it in there. Okay, what about darts? Accuracy, right? It could be anything. The more the better. Let's not forget about yoga. Pilates, right? anything and everything that you can think of, the more the better. And I have these guys lined up, and I start spinning this, right? And I'm going to pull out 10 of them. 10 of these random skills, drills, athletic performances that I want these people to compete in, okay? And the person who competes or completes all of these events the best is the fittest. Does this make sense? Yeah? Okay, so excuse me. So that doesn't necessarily mean that the person who became the fittest actually got first place in any of the events, right? So there's 10 of them, but they were always in the top rankings, right? That makes sense that that person would be, oh yeah, they're pretty dang fit. We picked random things out of it, and they did really well at all of them, right? So that person seemed to be balanced, right, in the hopper. So if I want to be fit, I need to be balanced in these 10 general physical skills. And I want to be balanced in this hopper, random things that are being thrown at me, right? And I want to do them well. To explain this a little bit more, imagine, let's bring it to the extremes. You have somebody with a 4-minute mile in competing, right, in this hopper event. And they're turning it, and they're like, oh, please let it be a 4-minute mile, right? They get it, and they are just crushing it. They do great. But that's it. That's all they're good at. I know everybody else in that area is more fit, or in that workout is more fit than the runner. Does this make sense? I hope I'm not confusing you. Okay. Other extreme, this guy can back squat 900 pounds. He can't run to save his life, but he can squat 900 pounds. I know a lot of other people who are more fit than him, right? Getting the concept here? Awesome. So, I mean, if you tell me, hey, my whole life is to be able to squat 900 pounds. That's what I want to do. By all means, that's great. Fantastic. Let's do it. Tom and I can help you to get there. Okay? What if you want a 4-minute mile? Awesome. Let's get you there as well. Tom and I can totally help you. But you're not becoming more fit by doing so. What you've done now is you've started to become more sport specific, right? Not this general, inclusive, adaptive capacity to be able to perform well in any situation at any given time, right? Awesome. So you want to be balanced. Balanced in these 10 general skills, right? If my strength starts to go up, I'm no longer balanced. I need to get balanced in all of them. If I'm really good at one thing in the hopper, I'm not balanced. I want to get balanced at all of them. All right. This leads me to my third model. Okay. The human body is pretty cool. It's really amazing. How many EXS majors do I have in here? Or biomed, or, yeah. So some of you might have heard of this, some of you have not, and you know, it doesn't quite really matter exactly what it means, but I'll get into it a little bit, just kind of let you know how the human body works. The human body is a vehicle with 3 engines. I'm going to make that bigger. The human body, it has 3 engines that it runs off of. Okay, we're going to make this power. We're going to make this time. The 3 engines that it has, one looks like this. One looks like this. And then the third one looks like this and goes on forever, and we don't really care how far it goes. Okay, we have this one engine that is, see my power axis and my time axis? One engine that is high power, short duration. One that is moderate power, moderate duration. And a third one that is low power and long duration. These are my 3 engines, okay? What do you think I want all of these to do or to be? If I want to be balanced, I definitely want just to work on this one. That's the only one I want, just short and powerful all the time, okay? So these all are always working. One is revving, two are idling, two are revving. One is just usually more dominant than the other, but this is how our body works, okay? And I want you guys to be good at all of these. I want to be good at all of these. I want my husband to be good at all of these, okay? When you fire up your truck or your car, do you just want to work on one piston, right? But it works really good, that piston. No, you want all of them firing, right? You want to get going. You want to be able to perform well in any situation at any given time, right? Have I lost anybody? Awesome. Okay, so we're talking about fitness and how and what it means and how you can analyze it yourself. So you can even start to self-check, right? How fit you are. And then we can take this a little step further, right? So how fit are you here? How fit are you here? How fit are you here? How do you measure this? How do you balance that? That's a lot of stuff, right? So I'm going to use this simple phrase, and this is how we balance all of these, okay? These three models that I have up so far. And it is constantly varied, high-intensity functional movement, okay? Constantly varied, high-intensity functional movement. What the heck does that mean? Holy cow. Couple of buzzwords. You've heard of high intensity before. You've heard of constantly varied before. You've heard of functional movements, right? Okay, what do you guys think a functional movement is? Yeah.
Like everyday movement?
You must be in my class. Okay. Okay, imagine me, I'm standing on one of those half yoga balls, okay, balancing, and I've got these weights, and I'm just doing these bicep curls like crazy. Is this functional? Do you ever see a mom washing dishes like this? I mean, maybe. There's no judgment here, but. That's right. Hiking up a mountain too. Right, I want you guys to think about this. When somebody claims that they're teaching functional movement, I want you to question them. Okay, what is functional movement? Something that you see in everyday life. Definitely. Something that is natural. Something that you see everywhere. It's not just in the Western world. It's just not in the Eastern world. It's just not in the kitchen. It's just, right? Something that we see every day. When a functional movement is like a part of us, right? Let's just humor this a little bit. Functional movements, if there's something that you see in everyday life, something that's natural, something that's universal, something that comes from the core to the extremities, right? When you're a kid, you just kind of like kicked a ball, right? Or you threw something. When you watch a toddler, they can just squat, and they squat so well. And they can squat all day. It's amazing. It's really cool and something that I wish I could still do that well. Functional movement, okay? Picking something off the ground. Were you taught that? How about putting something over your head and placing it somewhere? No, right? These movements are multi-joint, right? They're not isolation movements, okay? They're seen everywhere. Do you ever go to a construction site and you see guys lifting planks of wood like this? No. So that is a gym movement. That is not a functional movement, okay? So let's humor this thought for a little bit. If functional movement is a part of you and every one of us, let's say we take a human body, okay? Human body, here's their torso, here's their legs. There's their head. You take them away to some planet for some aliens to look at, and you're like, okay, here I have this body, and I want you to move it the most efficient and effective way to pick something up off of the ground. How would they move that body? Deadlift. I want you to move this body the most effective and efficient way to pick something up to get underneath it and put it overhead. How would you move it? A clean. See where I'm getting at? Okay? So functional movements, this is where they're cool, okay? Functional movements have the advantage and the unique capacity to move large loads, long distances, quickly. Ultimately, I just gave you a formula. Functional movements are movements that you're able to move large distances, weight, heavy, force, long distances, did I say that right? Okay, and quickly, time. Power. In physics, so being able to move something well, heavy, and fast, right? In physics, this is called power. So humans can create power, okay? Bicep curls, lateral raises, lightweight, short distances, not very fast. Cleans, okay? Long distance, heavy load, very quickly. Okay? You can take a measurement of both of those, and one will create more power, effective and efficiently. And those are our functional movements. So it kind of ties into the next little part of our phrase, constantly varied, high intensity, functional movements. High intensity, all right, big buzzword. That's going around everywhere. What the heck does that mean, guys? Hard, I love that, yeah. But why? Like, how else would you describe intensity? Anyone? Continuous. All right.
Either it's heavy or you have to lift a lot of it.
Heavy, lift a lot. Okay. Yeah. I like how you brought heart rate up. Okay. 1 and 2. No, 1 and 2. Yeah. Nah, you didn't raise your hand?
Oh, I was going to say more.
More. I'm going to bring this up.
More in terms of repetitions, or is this more in terms of more time?
These are great, exactly. We don't know what intensity is, so there's actually a great way to describe this. Okay, so yeah, people are having a hard time defining what intensity is. It's hard, moving weight continuously. Have you ever been in the gym or an area where there's a guy in the back corner and he's doing something like a bicep curl and he's red in the face and he's screaming, ah, right? Oh, wow, that's intense, right? Yeah, we think so, okay, but can you measure that? No, okay. Measuring heart rate. I like how that was brought up. A lot of runners do this, okay? They measure their heart rate. They're going for a good run. They maybe come to an incline, and then they check their heart rate, and it's through the roof, and they're like, whew, wow, yeah, that was intense. I must have been getting a good workout. There's flaws in this. Okay, imagine yourself driving down the highway, okay? And all of a sudden someone cuts you off and pulls in front of you. My heart rate goes straight up. Am I getting an intense workout in? No, yeah.
Wouldn't intensity have to be a combination of multiple factors? So you have heart rate plus if you're gonna talk about, let's say, like fat burning or whatever, there has to be a time component for the exercise, the working to happen, for the effect to have upon the body, for it to be intense.
Exactly, the time. I love how you said time. Intensity, by definition, is power. Power is force times distance over time. Okay, let's kind of think about this for a second. Okay, I want you to do 100 push-ups, but in 48 hours, you can do 100 push-ups. You can do that, right? Easy. Decently. Yeah, you got 48 hours. Heck, you can do 2 every minute and you'll be fine. Okay, now I want you to do 100 push-ups in 3 minutes. Which one's more intense? Which one's harder? Right, but why? We're moving the same load, the same distance, right? You didn't change weight. You didn't grow arms 6 feet long. No, the difference was the time. So who had more power output? 3-minute guy or 48-hour guy? Yeah, intensity, power. So something that is measurable. Guys, that's cool. You can measure intensity precisely and accurately. Okay, this is where things get sweet. And hopefully, I think I'm going pretty slow, so I'll try to speed it up. Okay, so we have our phrase. We figured out what intensity is. It's power. We figured out what functional movements are, right? In the world, effective and efficient. Okay? Constantly varied. I have to draw one more. Constantly varied, high intensity functional movements. How the heck do I do constantly varied? Well, I have 3 models. Okay, here's our axis again, power. Here's our time. Okay, I have 3 models. Constantly varied in any 10 of these. Constantly varied in any of these hoppers. Mahalo. Constantly varied in my short explosive engine, moderate explosive duration engine, and long, slow, low, powerful duration, okay, engine, and I mix them all up. So what would be, let's say, okay, I take you and we start doing all of these constantly varied exercises, okay? So I do one 1-rep max back squat, okay? And then I do 10-mile run. And we do other things that take about the same time duration or intensities, I guess you could say, right? What's another example of something that would be short and explosive, do you think? Sprints, 100-meter sprint, that's right. Something moderate duration. Anybody know what Fran is? Yeah, some of you might know what Fran is. Elite Fran athletes can do Fran in 2 minutes or less, okay? Tennis match, very, very good, yeah. Definitely moderate and explosive, okay? I start collecting your data and how you're doing, your power output, okay? In all of these constantly varied activities. And I take the average. I graph it. This is cool. This area, your work capacity, this is how fit you are. This is cool. You can see on a graph how fit you are comparatively to someone else, comparatively to yourself, right, a little while ago. You can see where you need to get better. You can see where you're not very good, okay? That's pretty sweet, don't you think? So, going on with that, there's something very important I want to talk to you about, that you can't talk about fitness without talking about health. You just can't. So there's this other One more graph, guys. I'll call it a curve, okay? One more curve. I call it the sick wellness curve, okay? So we have sickness over here. Can you guys see that? Okay? Is that big enough? You have wellness. And you have fitness. Okay, health. When we talk about health, we have normal health, we have good health, we have bad health of some sort, any degree of some measurement somebody's told you once upon a time. Body fat, right? Body fat. 40% body fat, you're obese, you're sick, okay? Normal, anywhere between 12 and 15, depending on where you are in the world and what they tell you, right? You're well, you're doing good. Then we have got like 5% body fat. Those are the elite athletes. They're pretty fit, okay? You can do this with just about anything, okay? You can do, let's hear some. Heart rate, right? Resting heart rate. Triglycerides, cholesterol levels. What's another? Your mile time. Okay, guys, you can even think about this. Mood swings, right? There's the Superman athletes invincible mindset. There's the normal behavior. Then there's like the depressed, right? Anything on this little continuum, you can put on there. Okay? HDL levels, LDL levels, anything the doctor throws at you, any of these 10 skills, any of these performances in the hopper, any of these that you can measure, right? You see what I'm trying to explain here? So, when we talk about our fitness, our health, nonetheless, you can think about it this way. Say you're here, you're sitting pretty healthy, okay? You've got a great mile time, great body fat, blah, 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 the list goes on, you're fit, okay? Your work capacity load here, awesome. Something happens to you. I don't know, you get pneumonia or something. It drops you 30 points this way. We'll do a point system. Shoot, that sucked. It was really bad. You're in the hospital for a while. But because you were so far over here already, yeah, you're not nearly as fit as you were, but hey, you're sitting pretty good, right? Now, what about the guy or the girl who's already sitting here? They get the same bug. They drop same amount, 30 points. Shoot. See what I'm talking about? Okay? So this, we can start tying back into our work capacity, our fitness, this power output thing that we've got going on. So this is what's really neat. So when you start thinking about your fitness, you can't talk about it without talking about health. Okay, have you guys ever drawn like a 3D box on paper? Okay, I'm going to try to do that same kind of concept here. So we've got our 2D graph. Okay, I'm going to drag this out. Do you see a corner? Yeah? I'm sorry, I'm not a very good artist. But you kind of get the idea? Okay, don't mind this. That's a line I need to draw. So we have our power axes, our time axes, and this is our age. I want to increase my work capacity as much as I can, as young as I can. Okay, now imagine I'm adding in time. I'm pulling that graph down towards this corner. Things are going to happen, whether like we want them or not, one thing or another. I'm sure we each get old one day, right? Things are going to happen and it's going to start knocking us down this continuum, right? I want to increase my fitness, my health, getting up here as high as I can so I can drag this work capacity as long and as far as I possibly can. So when I'm 90 years old and you see these decrepit people in homes who have lost functional movement, they cannot get to the bathroom themselves, they can't pick up their own groceries, I'm going to be that 90-year-old who's still kicking it with her grandkids, right? Throwing them in the air and like, I've got great bone density and stuff like that. So when we talk about fitness, you can't talk about it without talking about health and vice versa. So ultimately, how fit you are, or how do you become more fit, can be measured accurately and effectively, okay? And it can be better, or you can be better and increase your work capacity by doing high or constantly varied, high intensity functional movements. Thank you. If you guys don't mind, I would love my husband to come up. I've just been talking a lot. We can answer questions together if you guys have any. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned that that there'll be like the older people who didn't do the high functional movements, and they'll lose those. At what age can you no longer work up? You know what I'm saying?
When you are 6 feet under. When you are dead. Yeah. When you're dead. I mean, obviously everybody's a little bit different, but we have seen personally, and there has been things, studies, does not matter the age. Anybody and everybody will and have benefited from constantly varied high functional or high intensity functional movements.
So like, when can you no longer keep building this hedge in your health?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Like things like bone density, things like muscle strength and how you adapt. There's a lot that goes into it, but probably the biggest one that really you can't change is maximum heart rate. There's a little diode on your heart that tells it how fast it pumps and so forth. No matter what, if we hit a certain age, it starts to decline. We'll no longer hit this ceiling heart rate. But as far as, can my bone density still get more dense? Can I still build muscle mass and so forth? There's been no real conclusive studies to say, at 80, you can't do that anymore. There's still active athletes, Olympic rowers, who are masters athletes, who are still kicking trash with 20-year-olds. So, yeah, good question. Really good question. Any other questions?
Guys, there's no way I explained it that well. Yeah.
I'm just reading I think someone was asking at the beginning, just the difference between cardiovascular endurance and stamina.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks.
I should just give you a list. Tom, do you mind?
Yeah, cardiovascular, respiratory endurance, and stamina. This, obviously, these all tie in to each other, some overlap. Cardiorespiratory endurance, you take a guy, he's a marathon runner, runs a super marathons, right? Now throw him on light back squat and have him do as many reps in the back squat as you can. That's the difference between stamina and cardiorespiratory. Right? One is his stamina to keep going on the back squat. He's going to do awesome because he's got that built up in the system. But he's a cardiorespiratory athlete. That's his strength. He'll probably die out compared to someone who just trains with back squats, doing them light, hard and fast, than when they try to do a marathon. Does that make sense? Yeah. This is really cool stuff. Just something quickly to add in. Pretty revolutionary. This is sort of a disruptive innovation in the health and fitness world. The Surgeon General for the United States came out with a statement fairly recently where he talked about chronic disease. Chronic disease kills 70% of the people in North America every year. 70%. 7 out of 10 people are going to die in chronic disease. Chronic disease is like their heart failure, diabetes, so on and so forth. Chronic disease, completely preventable through diet and exercise. Right? Just think about that. 7 out of 10 deaths that happen, preventable. Cause 80% of healthcare costs. So the Surgeon General has been talking with the exercise physiologists, the scientists who are looking at this, figuring this out. He said, what we do in the hospitals, we're the lifeguards. Right? Someone's drowning, they have these diseases, they're sick, they're down here on the curb. This doesn't matter, they're already sick. They're drowning, they need a lifeguard. What we do in the healthcare industry, lifeguards. What you're doing in the exercise science community, training people, doing functional movements, you're the swim coaches. We need more swim coaches out there to prevent people from drowning, so on and so forth. So that's a pretty big statement from the Surgeon General of the United States. Pretty awesome.
Question. I noticed that your formula is pretty awesome. Is it primarily focused on the physical aspect of wellness, or does it also have components in your formula where it targets like the emotional and the mental side of wellness?
So with the emotional and mental, that is really hard to measure, and that's why there is actually like no formula. So this formula is definitely more or less for the actual body movement and the power output that it can create. Does that answer your question?
And that's where that curve, the fitness, wellness, sickness curve comes in. Like, then you can throw any measure on there.
Yeah.
Right? We don't care if you're you're Olympic gold medalist, you have all these records, hey, you're depressed, your cholesterol levels are high, so on and so forth. Are you as fit as you can be? Therefore, it's healthy as you can be. So that's how that works.
I may just make one comment in answer to that, and that is that all of these things work together, and the spiritual part of your life is a component that most of the world doesn't talk about, but it's a significant, it's less trackable nationally or internationally. I think we can track it a little bit better, but if your spiritual life is not functioning right, it can affect your physical health. So there's a lot of components that are a part of it, and Tara tried to explain by throwing the emotional part in how they all tie together. This is mostly a demonstration of how the physical part can help your overall health and wellness. Each of those other components have to fit together for your body to really work and last. And I'm not suggesting that anybody can't get better, but at some point, sometimes your body just says, I'm done. It's time to go home. So we knew someone that was quite healthy, and at 95, their body said, I'm done. It's time to go home. So it just happens, but you have a lot of control over a lot of things for a much longer than I think we actually give credit for. And all of those things have to work together. I think that's what they're trying to suggest.
Exactly. Yes. Oh, sure.
You could even throw some spiritual things on this curve, right? Like 10% tithing, 5% tithing, 0% tithing. Something like that. So I read scriptures every day, twice a week, and all, right? Anything like that. And then, yeah, when Sarah talked about preparing for the unknown and unknowable, not just in physical tasks, that's life, right?
Yeah.
I felt pretty fit, ended up having a couple back surgeries because I was born with the condition, but because I hopefully built up a pretty good hedge, I went into surgery, walked out the same day, recovered really fast because I built that hedge up in my health, right? Preparing for the unknown and the unknowable is not just in physical tasks, but in life. Things happen.
And an example that you might all know more of is a woman who's going to have a child. The healthier they are before delivery, the faster they recover after delivery. So that's something that we sort of identify with a little bit more than Superman, who has a surgery.
Yes.
Sorry, just another question.
Yeah.
What is a good suggestion for someone who has injuries and is usually active but gets itchy feet? Like, what would you suggest as a good substitute for what they would usually be doing?
It's great. No, that's really, really great. Tom and I actually have a lot of these. We call in the CrossFit gym in Kahuku, and we have everybody of all levels of injuries and whatnot, of physical preparedness, I guess, or even history in their life. There's something called scaling. So you can feel that same or produce the same amount of power that you would be feeling as if you were 100% anyways, and still benefit just the same with or without that injury, and not hurting yourself. Yeah, so scaling is the answer.
Also, all of those things that she's got listed there, the inability to do them is like having an injury. So if I'm injured, I can't do something. But if I have no flexibility, in effect, that's a type of injury because it restricts the things that I can do.
Correct.
So you approach it in a similar way.
Here's sort of a mind blow. This is awesome. Yeah, you get old or you get injured, you go to physical therapy, you go to PT, or you go in old folks' home, you become decrepit. As Terry said, decrepitness is not being able to do functional movements, right? I can't squat a foot on myself. I'm injured, I need to go to PT so I can walk upstairs. Those are those functional movements that if you do them, you build up that head, because if you can't do them, you're decrepit or sick or something's off. Yeah. Cool. So PT are helping people do functional movements, physical therapy.
Dr. Porter, wasn't there a David O. McKay address a few years ago that kind of talked about the synthesis of physical, mental, and spiritual? About 5 years ago.
Oh, you remember that? You should remember.
Look up David O. McKay lecture by Dr. Porter.
Cool.
Should be on the university website.
Awesome. I'm gonna go check that out.
Was it 5 years ago? 6 years ago?
10.
Oh, no.
2007, it goes fast, doesn't it?
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry, I have another question. I've studied a lot up on chiropractors and
On, sorry, what?
on chiropractors.
Oh, awesome.
And one of the methods is if your body's aligned, it can perform better. What are your thoughts on that?
Right back to this, right? If everything is functioning or like in line the way it's supposed to be, right?
I mean, like, what are your thoughts on chiropractors as a
Oh, they're great. Fantastic. We have some in our gym. We love them. Absolutely. I mean, things happen. Life happens, right? So I do something and I get a little kink, right? We've got lifeguards. We've got swim coaches and whatnot, and we work together, right? So chiropractic's awesome. By all means, like, good luck. Give her. Yes.
Can I drink an energy drink and not worry about that stuff on the list?
I'll leave that up to your discretion.
Is that a self-answering question?
I think you might know the answer. Yeah.
Just curious, so now that fitness is measurable, do they have like an overall like score? Like when they measure someone's fitness, they're
Or like
this
IQ
fit
or something like
Yeah.
that? Ooh.
Right, for different measures, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you could look up a mile time, see how you're doing, fast mile time versus like world record, and of course about specializing. You know if you're doing a good mile, you can run a mile in 20 minutes, or not as good as if you can do it in that 5 to 7 range, right?
Yeah, so it's kind of like, you kind of know where you sit, right? That like hopper style, right? If you're thinking, if they're in that competition and they're spinning it and you're just like, oh gosh, please, no, don't let that come out. Like, I'm really good at everything except snatches or muscle ups. And you're like, please. And then they pull it out. You're like, okay, my level, my point, my scale is not as good as it could be. So as of like an IQ number and whatnot, I'm not 100% sure, but definitely there are benchmarks in where you can figure out how
Yeah.
you're doing. And that's what the hero watts are. That's what like Fran and Helen and blah, blah, blah. Those are all markers, I think.
Yeah, to talk about that, if you're not familiar with like CrossFit, what CrossFit is. CrossFit is to take this idea to the extreme and find who is the fittest. You take the CrossFit competitions, you show up, and they pretty much just have a hopper, and it's like, all right, triathlon, go. And then everyone who's in it does a triathlon. Then 4 hours later, they all test who can do most 5-rep back squat. And then later after that, they test different tests, right? All different tests, who performs overall most fit at that competition. That's the idea of it. We run these on campus.
Yeah,
We
have you
do
guys heard
this
of
at
those?
BYU. They've been pretty awesome. Fun to try.
Definitely fun to check out.
Let's give them a prize, a round of applause.